Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of Sketch Watch Play. I am John Fleury.
And I'm Christopher Wade.
And this is our first time recording in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it has.
First of the new year, I believe. Or was episode 6 right before or right after New Year's Eve?
It was. I think it was right on New Year's Eve, because that was the day when. Yeah, that was the day when my friend Colin came over, and we were geeking out about Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Oh, he got his one-line cameo.
Yeah.
He pulled a Serena. Though
he did.
I think Patrick's guest spot turned out really well.
It did.
You guys had good chemistry, and he had some funny stories of his own. I didn't know about that Niantic story of his until he told it. Mm-hmm. And of course, I didn't know about your Pokemon Snap horror story either.
Yeah, I try not to tell it so often.
You want to repress it. I get it.
Well, a lot of my friends have already heard this story before, so I'm sure that when I brought it up again, they were like, not this one again.
Well, they could skip forward like 3 minutes if they had to.
Yeah.
And actually, I know I've already said we definitely want to try to have more guests on the future. Colin should definitely be one of them, I think, if he's ever in the area.
He's actually coming over today. I know we've got like a very set schedule for happening today, but he's been coming over a little bit more often.
I'll get in touch with him. Maybe we can plan something.
Sure, that'd be fun.
And I'm trying to think of. I'm sure I have other like friends and family who might be a good fit, but I have to think on it for a bit. Some online friends possibly too.
I got a couple people in mind as well.
Yeah, we'll go over that in the very near future, I think.
Yeah.
But so long as somebody can get to either recording side of us for Skype, or maybe even if they have a good Skype connection, a good mic. I think we almost did that for Patrick, but he was in town, so I capitalized on it.
Yeah.
So we were just talking before we started. Not a whole lot going on lately, except I attended MAGFest 2017 about 2 weeks ago at this point.
And I'm super jealous.
Yeah, it's become a yearly tradition for me. I think this was my 4th straight one. Mm-hmm. And I always have a blast with them. I feel like I spend like 60% of my time solely in the dealer's room. Mm-hmm. Both to find some, older games I might be interested in. But also, I love seeing the indie artists, buying stuff from them, getting commissions. I did a couple commissions this year. I also went to AwesomeCon this past year, and I've done a lot of Overwatch ones.
Nice.
I actually ran into the same artist who did a Mercy commission for me in summer, and I had her do the younger version of Ana, the sniper. Mm-hmm. And I met. Have you ever read any of the Archie, Sonic, or Mega Man comics?
I haven't been reading the Archie side of the. Actually,
but you know about them.
Yeah, I know of them. Yeah, you're talking about the when the Sonic and Mega Man crossover, right?
Or just both series in general. They're Sonic and Mega Man series.
Oh, yeah, I know about. I've been reading a little bit more of the Sonic run. I know recently the Mega Drive series that Tyson Hess did was pretty awesome. So I'm trying to get back into it a little bit more.
I was way into them in the late Genesis days when they first started to get darker.
Uh-huh.
I know they did a reboot recently. I think it got very cluttered and they wanted to make it more in line with the games. But this guy has been the main colorist for both the more recent Sonic and Archie's Mega Man series. Mm-hmm. And he was doing commissions. Turns out he's also a really big Nintendo fan. So instead of being like, do Sonic, do Mega Man, I asked him to do Ashley and Red from WarioWare.
Oh, cool.
Kind of a wild card. I actually have it right here if you want to see
What's his name? Oh, nice.
I believe it's Matt Herms or Matt Hearns.
I met him. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been to other conventions.
He actually signed my my Sonic Mega Drive first issue when he was out at a local comic store. He's a cool guy.
He was a cool guy. We talked about all sorts of stuff. So that was the main stuff I did at the dealer's room, but I also went to a few panels, as I often do. Uh-huh. The big highlight for me was going to a Q&A with David Wise, who you may not know the name. He is the he worked at Rare during like their golden age.
Yeah,
he did the music for most of their NES games, and biggest thing to me, all the original Donkey Kong Country games.
Nice, yeah.
I think Donkey Kong Country 2 is maybe my favorite game soundtrack ever, and maybe my favorite game ever. That's still hard to call, but the game is very dear to me. And he also got brought back to compose the soundtrack for Tropical Freeze a few years ago.
Nice,
which was also great. And I got to ask him, since that was his first time working with the series in ages, what was the process like of using new hardware and having less limits by you weren't limited to a sound chip anymore. He said the funniest thing was that he did want to try and recreate like the aural vibe of some of the old ones. Mm-hmm. And it was very hard to get the similar sounds with normal instruments and modern software. He had to experiment to actually get it to sound retro enough to fit.
Yeah, because he would have to. You do have to do a little bit of a. What's the word? Now I don't want to say retconning or going backwards compatible, but yeah, you do have to kind of step a ways back to kind of get those, to kind of get something close to those old sounds.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah,
it wasn't that part of it wasn't as simple as he thought, but it was. I think he did say it's one of his favorite projects he's ever worked on because the series is still very dear to him.
That's awesome. I'm glad he's still doing work. That's awesome.
Yeah. I know he's been freelance for a while because he left Rare, like most of their good staff during the Microsoft buyout. He did do. I know that game Kingdoms of Amalur a few years back. They got him to do the soundtrack.
Nice.
I haven't played that game or heard the soundtrack, but I probably should look up the soundtrack. I also went to a brief Q&A with John Patrick Lowry, who was a MAGFest regular. He's the voice of the sniper in Team Fortress 2. He's been Sherlock Holmes in a lot of those adventure games in recent years. And his wife is Ellen McLean, the voice of GLaDOS and Gypsy Danger in Pacific Rim. And that was neat. He's a regular, so there wasn't anything mind-blowing.
Nice.
I asked him something a little unorthodox because I looked up his IMDb, and he was in a game it was a big part of both my and Patrick's childhoods. An adventure game called Spy Fox and Dry Cereal.
I never heard of that.
It was by Humongous Entertainment. Like they did a lot of kid games like Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam. Spy Fox and Pajama Sam were me and Patrick. That was our shit back in the day.
Cool.
And he was the villain in the first game. I asked him about that. He said he didn't have any concrete memories of the project specifically because it was like over 20 years ago. But he remembers the process because back then there was no way to get your own studio. Like many voice actors do now, and it was all being done like on analog, so you had to record on cassettes and ship them for auditions alone. So times change. And hello, Kat.
Yes, that is Simba. He's being an asshole. Hi, Simba.
He's doing the forced perspective thing where his head looks bigger than your body.
Yeah.
And so MAGFest was really fun. I also met with a friend of mine who is a cosplayer. And she, speaking of Pacific Rim, she went as Mako.
Awesome!
Yeah. It helps that she's Asian. But it was the training outfit, the tank top, and the staff. Very fun. So
awesome.
Hung out with her and some friends. Also ran into another friend who I'm actually going to another party of tomorrow named TJ. Nice guy. Met him through a now defunct Street Pass meetup.
Street Pass? Okay.
3DS, yeah. It was fun. But so, yeah, in summary, MAGFest is as fun as ever, and I have no intentions of stopping the annual tradition unless something really important comes up around that time. And I'm sure I'll have more to say about it next year. I'm actually hoping maybe eventually I can get my own artist booth there, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But so now we're going to get into more specific things. So I'm going to get mine out of the way first. I'm going to fess up to the audience. I have still not seen Rogue One, and that's totally on me. I think Sunday could finally be the day I could go see it, and if I don't that weekend, I think I'm just going to wait till streaming. I want to see it, but just stuff just keeps priorities keep stacking up. But I did see shortly after our last recording a movie I was very excited for, and I certainly know at this point not many others were, which was the recent fantasy drama A Monster Calls.
I wish I had 100 years. 100 years I could give to you. I'm afraid.
Of course you are afraid, but you will make it through. For this is why you called me. Come on.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, had you heard about it or before I told you?
I have heard about it. I think I've seen the trailer for it. It was really cute looking.
I saw the trailer for it in front of Kubo. Which I thought was a great fit because it is very similar. It's technically a family film. Let me just get out of the way. The movie was a huge flop. I think it opened in like 13th place. And I think it's already made some money overseas and from festival screenings, but I'm not shocked because even though it got critical praise, it is a tough sell and it's very hard to place a demographic for it.
Yeah.
Because I think adults wouldn't like the fantasy. Well, they might be turned off by the fantasy element, and this is way too heavy for like a little kid. I think late elementary school, middle school can handle it fine, and I actually do recommend it for that. Or anybody like us who is into darker imaginative tales, because I was getting vibes when I first heard about it from Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It's certainly not as violent and overall bleak as that, but it is a very heavy and kind of pulling no punches film, because the concept is it focuses on this like 12-year-old British boy whose mom, played by Felicity Jones, speaking of Rogue One, is in the later stage of terminal cancer. And
that's really uplifting.
Well, not only that, it shows that in his school life, he's getting the shit kicked out of him every day by this really sadistic bully.
Doubly uplifting.
He's already like an introverted, artistic kid, so he just can't get relief. Then he finds out like he's gonna have to move in with his like very stuffy, uptight grandma, played by Sigourney Weaver, actually. And so he's having a tough time with things. And this big near his house, there's a yew tree, an old tree. One night it like uproots itself. This big Groot-looking monster. There's no way around it. It looks like a much more ferocious Groot. Voiced by Liam Neeson.
I was about to ask. Yeah.
I want Liam Neeson to do more voiceover because he is so good in that. And he's got such a unique voice. And instead of like coming over trying to kill him, he says, I'm going to help you cope by telling you one story every night that will tie into, thematically what you're going through. And then at the end, you have to tell me like this truth you're hiding in this final story. And it ties together beautifully in the way it progresses. The stories, he tells 3 stories. The third is a very brief one, so it doesn't get the same treatment as the first 2 because they basically get like animated short films, which you can see clips of in the trailer. Amazing style. I think it's pure CG, but it looks very mixed media in its approach. Like,
that's cool.
Silhouetted figures, like ink splotches. I know you said it earlier. You're a big fan of mixed media. I think we talked about Paper Mario. You should look those up on YouTube at least at some point.
I will.
Oh, did Colin just arrive?
Yeah, Colin just arrived.
Hey, Colin. But they're just very interesting little like fables. Like you wouldn't be surprised if you'd heard those were. Serena just did like a jaunty, slow walk behind Chris. That's why I'm laughing. It's not. I know it actually has something of an uplifting ending. Like it still doesn't pull punches, but I think it kind of shows the importance of grief and perseverance and such. There's a lot of heavy themes going on in it. And it's rare for a movie to make me cry.
Oh no!
But I like it when it does because this movie did it to me 3 times.
Oh no!
At 3 separate points, I teared up, and many others, I still felt very strong emotions. It is a very good. I don't even consider it like manipulative. Like it earns those tears and those heavy. God. No, it was movies like that are right up my alley. Movies that really make me feel.
Oh no! I'm gonna start crying now. Okay. All right. I'm good.
I'm not gonna.
I don't like to hear about when people cry. It kind of makes me start to cry. I don't know.
This is not so much a crime because of something in my life. This is crime because I'm moved by a story. So if that's what brings it down, I get it. But the cinematography is really nice. The acting's the kid. This is his first big role, and he's good through a lot of it. And then the quote-unquote climax of the movie, he lets it all out, and I'm like, I really hope this kid has a future ahead of him because I think he just earned it with this one scene.
Yeah.
And the way the fantasy element is handled with the monster and such, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but it very much is one of those things where you're wondering if it's in his head, because when the monster shows up, it's typically when no one else is around. There's one point where the monster's talking to him in the middle of a crowded room and no one else sees him. And the very end of the movie, in a very nice and very fitting way, give you a solid answer about the monster's meaning. And I was very sad. I think I heard some other people say I wished they left it more ambiguous instead of going one way or the other. But it's not only that, but it made me think back to one line early in the movie that would seem like a throwaway line. But when you see when you learn what you do at the end, I'm like, oh, I get why this happened. I get the significance of this last reveal, and it's perfect.
That's good.
So it's probably not in theaters at this point. I remember I saw it on a Sunday afternoon. There was one other woman in the theater, and that was it. So I was like, yeah, nobody's going to see this. The upside is it will probably be out on home release soon, and I definitely recommend people check it out. And funny thing, I looked up the director. He did this is his 3rd movie. He did one called, I haven't seen his others, but I've heard of them. One was The Orphanage, which was like a horror movie produced by Del Toro, which I heard was good. Yeah. Then he did one called The Impossible, which was about an American family caught in the tsunami a couple years ago. So it's kind of like a disaster drama. And that's actually the other thing I know about that movie, I think it was a lot of people's first introduction to Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man. He was one of the sons.
Oh, okay.
I think that was for his first step on like gaining some notoriety. And his next movie is going to be Jurassic World 2.
Oh,
yeah, cool. Kind of a leap. Which, to be fair, I like the first Jurassic World, but as a spectacle movie, not as a character piece.
Yeah.
But I think he could still pull it off as he's definitely got an eye for good visuals, and the movie is very well paced, partially because it's only an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
So I actually am interested in Jurassic World 2. Though, if reviews suck, I probably won't see it, but I think this guy either way has a promising cinematic career ahead of him.
Cool. That's good to hear.
Yes. Go ahead.
I think when I saw the A Monster Calls trailer, I saw the trailer and it looked really, really interesting. I just didn't get the chance to see it because there are other movies that drew my interest a little bit more.
It came out within a week of Rogue One. So
yeah, and honestly, I've never been a big Star Wars fan, but these past couple of movies have been drawing me a bit more into the franchise. But I still wanted to keep my eye on A Monster Calls, and I want to be able to at least check it out at some point. There are so many good movies coming out right now.
If you weren't already married, I would say it's a great date night movie.
Yeah, and I think we'll take some time to see that. I know we still want to go see Hidden Figures.
I heard that's good.
Yeah, Moonlight looks amazing.
Good things about that. Patrick saw it recently. He said he really liked it.
Awesome. I forgot we planned this until about a couple of days ago, but me and my friends were slated to go see the new redub of Sailor Moon R, the movie.
Oh, I read a review of that today. Apparently the new dub's good.
Yeah, the new dub is pretty fun.
Truthfully, the only thing I've seen of the new dub is the Ford commercials they did.
The Ford commercial.
That is the greatest weird thing where they got they've done a Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and Captain Planet redubs.
Yeah,
all advertising Ford. And for Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball, they got back the cast.
Yeah.
So it's actually like Chris Sabat and is it Stephanie Shea voicing?
Stephanie Shea.
All the actual people doing the lines. It is so funny.
We are the Pretty Guardians who fight for love and for vehicle technology. And in the name of the 2017 Ford Fusion, we'll persuade you!
Yeah, and you know what? That kind of humor kind of carries through in Sailor Moon R. There's a lot of points where the characters are besides the whole yelling out attack names and
tried and true anime tradition.
Yeah. Besides sticking to the actual story itself, there are times when the characters are just together at a table, just talking about nonsense. I'm not going to spoil it for any listeners out there, but there's a point where the Sailor Guardians are around the table and they're talking about boys, and they start riffing, and it just sounds like that they're actually I don't want to say that they're what's the phrase called when you're talking when you're making jokes off the cuff.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say off the beaten path. That's not it.
Yeah, well, not off the beaten path. Doggone it! I know what it is. It just improv.
Off the cuff sounds pretty close.
Well, yeah. They sound so comfortable in their roles that they just start spouting off lines that you're pretty much used to hearing. And it's so doggone funny. So have you watched?
No, I'm just gonna say right now, I haven't watched any of the redub or Crystal. I watched a little bit of Sailor Moon back in the day on Toonami, mainly S and Super S, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not a great dub. I remember hating Sailor Moon's voice even then. So I'm kind of excited to see what the new ones is like. And go ahead.
Well, I have a bit of a soft spot for anime voice acting, or just for voice acting in general. And while the old days of what voice acting used to be are they're kind of gone, but still kind of around. You're still going to get good performances, and you're still going to get not so good performances. Mm-hmm. But these days, the arc for good performances is so it's so much farther along than what it used to be.
I remember I always used to be confused when people would say, anime fans would say, no, I never watch dubs. They're terrible. And I'm like, I was raised on good ones. But then you look at dubs of more obscure stuff from the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. That there's some real shit hidden there.
There's some bad stuff that used to get.
But we're almost completely past that. I feel
almost we're getting there.
I mostly watch dubs now because. I think the one time of a more recent show where I switched to subs was Genshiken. Have you ever seen that?
Genshiken, I've heard of it.
That's kind of one of those otaku making fun of otaku shows.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the first couple episodes, and the dub's not terrible, but it's a very manic show, and they sounded very bored and restrained, so it wasn't a good fit for that kind of show. On the flip side, have you ever seen Welcome to the NHK?
I haven't. No.
That's another good. That's a dramedy about otakus and the real introvert problem Japan has, like people who never leave their apartments and stuff. Dubbing that is fantastic. I've never watched it in subs, and I feel no need to. And the last thing I'll say about Sailor Moon is I was double-checking to make sure just now. A friend of mine is actually one of the villains in the redub.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
it is
awesome.
the character Mimete. She's like a redhead with glasses. I don't know, but
I gotta keep an eye out for that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know which show she's in or which she's a villain apparently. Yeah,
Okay.
Friend of mine has been in some cartoons and such. I think I talked about her before. Kira Buckland. She was big in the Newgrounds days and doing a lot of like fan dubs and audio production. She ended up doing enough to start a legit career and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people during the Newgrounds phase, and even in today's era of YouTube animation, a lot of voice actors have gone on to do some pretty great stuff. And,
Ego Raptors have been showing up in like legit productions now.
Apparently the Game Grumps are working on something. They're working on 2 projects. One is
he's guested on that Mighty Magisword show and stuff. And some other thing I can't remember.
He's guested on Mighty Magic Swords. He's done some spots on Bee and Puppy Cat, I believe.
Yeah.
But they're on some projects now. They're working on Ross's game cartoon and something else apparently. I'm not sure what it is.
Very cool. Go ahead.
But after watching like Sailor Moon R, like I was surprised to like hear like Ben to see Ben Diskin like play a role on there.
Wasn't he number 1?
I think so. I think
he was one of the kids next door. That's where I first. And I think when he was really old, he was Eugene on Hey Arnold.
Yeah, I kind of remember him from his role on Tome and from Tome the Terrain for.
I've never watched that. I didn't know he was in it.
Yeah, he's on there, and him and the creator like actually.
Kerberfer.
Kerberfer. They actually like have like a like on his like his weekly like blog on YouTube
vlogs and stuff.
His Curb blogs. They actually do they actually like interview each other for a couple of times.
I've met Kerberfer in person 1 or 2 times. Nice guy. He's good friends actually with Kira. And I think he's actually they've both been on Pokemon now.
Yeah, they have.
He was in an episode, and she was in one of the new shorts they did. Was it Generations?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the newscaster, one of them. So,
yeah. You know what? I'm going to completely like blow my mind. Just fucking geek out for now. But apparently Neosi is was it Regan on Mob Psycho?
Okay, I haven't watched that show yet.
Oh, Mob Psycho!
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mob Psycho is awesome.
Is that the one by the One Punch Man guy?
Yeah.
Okay, I should watch that. I really like One Punch Man.
Yeah.
I need to watch the dub of One Punch Man too. That aired on Toonami.
I need to watch the dub of both shows, but you know what? Both of those shows are great. I actually like Mob Psycho a little more than One Punch Man.
I'll check it out. But I think we should move on to what else. The big thing we planned to not a review, but there was a big blowout of news recently for a little thing called Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah, Nintendo Switch.
I'll lay my cards down on the table right now. I've already reserved mine for launch.
Oh my god. I did. I was very tempted to pre-order that, and I was like, I can't. I have to live.
A lot of people are. Okay, one, I'm gonna be doing my tax return soon.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna go towards the Switch. 2, I do not blame people for holding off because Zelda is the one thing that seems guaranteed to be good at launch, and that's you can still get that on Wii U.
Yeah.
There are some slight graphical enhancements, but otherwise it's going to be the exact same game.
Yeah, and that's what I heard. I'm a little disappointed on that, but I'm going to wait for Breath of the Wild. What I really, really want on the Nintendo Switch is Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. Wait. Just you're waiting for Breath of the Wild to come out?
I'm waiting for it to come out.
It's a launch title.
Super Mario Odyssey is a launch title?
Oh, you said you were waiting for Zelda.
No. Oh, sorry.
You're waiting for Odyssey.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey is what I'm waiting for.
Holy shit, let's talk about Odyssey.
Oh my god.
That looks like the true successor to the Galaxy games I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I think. Is it because I heard
it's not a Galaxy sequel. I'm just saying.
Okay. Because I heard that they were trying to go back to the 64 sandbox level design.
Yeah, it's going to be more in the 64 Sunshine route to some degree. There's still going to be some linear stuff, but I'll take that too. I've been really wanting them to. I feel like Mario has been aesthetically in kind of a rut for the past couple of years. Like 3D World was great, but a lot of the levels were kind of what you'd expect. There were exceptions, like the circus level, the ninja level. But I was thinking about how creative the Galaxy games got, and to a degree, Sunshine. I mean, it was all tropical, but it was still different.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the. I'm of all of two people on Earth who did not like Sunshine very much.
I did not dislike it, but I think it's the weakest of the main Mario games.
Yeah.
The 3D ones at least. It was. I remember being disappointed by it, but still having fun. But then Galaxy came out and all was forgiven. But Odyssey just. I remember the great way they revealed it because they've got that, that city that's presumably going to be a hub full of like realistic people. They're kind of pulling a Sonic, but they're probably going to do it better.
Yeah, I think they will do it better. The city world, I think itself is part of. It's like one of the new worlds that you have to explore, and that flying ship is like your traversing point.
It's like the Mario ship from Galaxy 2. It's going to be your plot reason to get around from. I think the idea is that he's going to be going to like different worlds or dimensions because they look very distinct. There's a Day of the Dead one. There's that food one where it's all very polygonal and simple shading, and it's just I'm like, man, they're finally flexing their creative chops with the levels again and the look of the game.
Definitely.
Even like the main characters, like it's still Bowser kidnapping Peach, but now he's trying to get married. He's wearing this pimp suit, this groom suit.
Yeah, like he went from like the bitches ain't shit mobile, which back in 3D Mario World.
Yeah, that cool car.
Yeah, and now he's like.
It looks like he's doing airships again.
It's so great. I love it. I love to look at this game.
I was so overjoyed watching that trailer. It's the most. And even other things that we were just speculating about now, like the fact that the hat's going to be a sidekick now, apparently. And not just that, but how it's kind of a consistent power up. Like he can throw it and then do an additional jump off of it.
Yeah,
that's genius. I can't wait to see what kind of level designs they pull off of that and secrets and stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really cool. And I really hope that you get to play as Luigi, not as like some after you collected the 120 stars kind of thing.
Galaxy 2 did it right. You unlocked him early on.
Yeah, I want that to happen again. I really hope that's the case.
I want to say there could be multiplayer, but I feel like they would have shown that already. Like that was the first thing they showed in 3D World. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of wondering how much they're going to draw from old characters and new ones. Because, we talked about how, Miyamoto wanted the RPG series to stop introducing new characters. But then you look at this and all these cool new, but presumably bosses. I'm really intrigued. Like you see like 4 evil looking rabbits for a second.
Yeah, I think they're from the Donkey Kong.
No. They look all new. I would know if they're from Donkey Kong, believe me.
Okay.
But I wonder if they're going to be a one-off boss or if there's going to be, are they going to be a recurring Koopalings type thing? I kind of hope for that. They remind me of Deadly Six. From Sonic Lost World. Maybe they would be the Mario equivalent. Yeah. And also, I just love the fact that the city is one big Easter egg because it's called New Donk City. You can see like a Dixie Street, a Cranky Street, Espresso.
Yeah.
Makes me hope that maybe there will be a Donkey Kong cameo in there somewhere, but I'm not counting on it because that's never happened in the main Mario games. It would be cool. Just saying.
Yeah.
I would love for the main Mario games, all the main Mario platformers and spin-offs and stuff to reference the other series like Wario or Donkey Kong, Yoshi.
You know what? I'm happy that there's a new Mario game. I really am. But I thought it would have been a bit more of a risk if Nintendo went ahead and made themselves a new standalone Wario game that was kind of in the vein.
I kind of hoped it was that at first because I'm a Wario fan. I was like, is it Diamond City? Or he finally there's a cap? Oh, it's Mario, but that still looked awesome. I also want a new WarioWare game. Period. It's been a long time.
Someone made this concept online. It was called they made it like the Mario and Luigi series on the 3DS, except it was called Wario Brothers Partners in Crime or something. And they had the design and everything. They had the illustration aesthetic down. It looked really charming and it looked really legit. And I kind of I wish I knew the name of that artist. I should have. I should have took notes on that, but I saw it 6 months ago.
Yeah, I love the WarioWare. I think we've talked about it. I make cartoons of them and stuff. I love those characters so much, just even conceptually.
Yeah.
So to see them pop up and stuff, I think all we've gotten so far is some Smash Brothers trophies, which I was overjoyed about. But I would love to see Mona and Mario Kart or the Dribble and Spits or even if they don't get a new full game, acknowledging them more in other games would make me happy.
Well, you mentioned Mario Kart, and now I'm a little. Now this is where I'm coming down from my high of Mario Odyssey. Look, the game lineup on the Nintendo Switch I'm sorry, I said Mario Galaxy, but the game lineup on the Nintendo Switch, it looks pretty cool. ARMS looks kind of interesting. I'm gonna pass on the 1, 2, 3 Nintendo
Switch.
thing. Yeah,
I was excited for it first, but then I'm reading early reactions have been really negative, so I'll probably pass on it.
I'm gonna pass on that like all the way. That's a hard pass. But Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, I'm gonna get those eventually. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting for battle mode for a while, and I think that edition is really, really cool.
But it should have been the base game to begin with.
If Nintendo tries to pull a fast one and tries to make that into a full-on game at $60 and not give a discount to people who've already bought it as a download, I'm going to be pissed.
No, that's probably going to be the case. They'll be like, you're paying extra for the Splatoon characters and the battle stuff.
How much extra? Because I'm not paying more than $10. I'm okay with the ones that I got, Nintendo.
Have they said what the pricing is?
No, they haven't.
Okay,
and I really hope that they're paying attention to the people who are like, I already have Mario Kart. It's downloaded. Now, the people who bought it on disc, I don't know what to say about that.
I bought it on disc, so
yeah, that's going to be a little tougher to justify them giving a discount. But if people who have it downloaded, if they decide to be like, you know what, for those who you can bring back proof of purchase on your Mario Kart 8 disc, we will give you a discount, and I'll be all good with that. But a deluxe version at $60, I don't know, man. That's a hard sell.
No, I don't blame you. I'll tell you the one pricing. If you know the one pricing thing that's I got everybody raising an eyebrow. The Pro controller.
Yeah,
$70.
$70 for Pro controller?
Yes, that's more. That's more than like an Xbox One controller. I'm not getting that at launch.
Yeah, I'm not getting that at launch. I'm not paying for a subscription for online. That's a no-go.
I might for Splatoon 2.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe whenever the new Smash is out.
You know what? I don't blame anybody for doing that. I really don't, because there's a huge fighting community for Smash Brothers, and there's a nice little community. There's a nice little racing community for Mario Kart as well, and also Splatoon. So I can kind of see Nintendo trying to perform maintenance and trying to keep their servers up to speed, so they kind of have to cycle in money to keep it going.
Yeah, well, they already have done that for Wii U, so I guess they want to reimburse or something.
Yeah, the Wii U didn't really sell that much, so
no, I'm talking about they did do online maintenance and stuff pretty frequently.
Well, but like you said, they want to try and recoup that cost and try to keep it going, and they have to compete with what the PS Plus is doing and
the
whatever the hell
Gold.
Yeah, or whatever hell Microsoft is doing with their gold account. I can understand that. But at the same time, I'm hearing a lot of negative reactions from people saying that they're going to miss the Miiverse.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I am going to miss that.
Yeah.
I was a big fan.
That's not a good move, I think. I think that Nintendo needs to find a really good replacement for that.
They've been saying now you can directly put stuff on social media. I'm like, well,
they better. I hope they're keeping whatever they have as a replacement for the Miis close to their chest. Are the Miis gone?
Yeah, I think they might be, and I don't know why.
That's not a good move.
No, right after you did Miitomo too. Like, I feel like the Miis are like they're an important Nintendo brand now.
Yeah. They probably have the statistics that show that, all right, Miis, they're not that big a deal, but at the same time,
Wii Sports days.
Well, yeah, Nintendo still needs something that says, look, player, we know you want to create a community online. Mm-hmm. So here's what we can do for you. And that's exactly what PlayStation does. That's exactly what Microsoft does. Look, if you go on PS on the PlayStation, what is it, the Network or the Plus, whatever, you can create your own little communities now.
Yeah, Xbox added that recently too.
Yeah, I don't care about it because I'm not.
I use them a little bit.
Personally, I'm not an online multiplayer. I'm a local multiplayer. I like being in the privacy of my home and yelling at my friends when they beat me at Smash Brothers. That's fine.
I'm usually not an online multiplayer too, but I have exceptions.
Yeah, well, that's just for me locally. But there are people who go online to do multiplayer outnumber me 100-1. Those people are the people that Nintendo needs to make sure that they grab and can continue getting money from, because without that, I really don't see a justification for paying online to play things you would have gotten for free.
Yeah.
That's just me. Now, maybe Nintendo knows something different, and they're like, well, we got the numbers, so fuck you, Chris. And I'm like, okay, all right, you got me. But from an outsider looking in who has grown up with Nintendo, I'm like, what you had with the Wii U was fine. You don't have to get rid of that.
I do think this could be their make or break system. Like, if this performs similar to the Wii U, I wouldn't be shocked if this is their Dreamcast and they pull a Sega.
Maybe. But the Wii U was surprisingly short-lived, I think.
Right, because it didn't do well. But it also, they are making some money from phone games, and 3DS has still done well.
Yeah.
So maybe if this underperforms, they'll still have enough to sustain them for another system.
Yeah.
But we will, I feel like I can't accurately say whether or not I expect this thing to do well or not, but I will say from the initial details, I'm a lot more excited about it than I was initially about the Wii U.
Yeah, I can.
Just the concept is way more intriguing to me.
Yeah, and during the presentation, you saw that Nintendo was definitely hitting people over the head like, this is what the system does. You can take it anywhere you want. They were talking very slow and showing
and let me just get out of the way. Best system name in years.
Yeah, best system name in years, I think.
Everybody thought Wii was stupid when it was first announced, including me. We just got used to it. Wii U was redundant, and a lot of people say it confused them because they thought it was just a revamped Wii.
Yeah.
Switch, it's a catchy, easy to say name, and it gets the point across really well.
Yeah, and it's not the Wii.
It's not Wii Switch.
Yeah, it's just called the Switch. And you know what? It may not be the most bombastic name, but now that the word Switch basically means you can switch from console to mobile mode, people can identify that relatively easily.
I don't care about bombastic name. I just want a nice sounding name. Like I'm still not a huge fan of the name Xbox. Like, what does that mean? PlayStation, I think, is a good name. That is a very good summary of a video game console. But Wii and Wii U didn't really. I think they meant it was to emphasize playing together.
Yeah.
Wii U, I'm not sure. I think that was just, it's playing together, but also yourself.
Play together. Plus, you can play it for yourself. Wait, Nintendo. Wait, time out. That's a little too close to home. That means something different entirely.
Yeah, but since I know you said you're going to wait a while. When I get it in March, I'm going to be taking the day off to play Zelda. Oh, I also pre-ordered one that's kind of flying under the radar, and I'm happy about the Resurrecting Bomberman.
Right. I saw some footage of that.
A new traditional Bomberman, like with a campaign and with a traditional battle mode.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'll take a look at that to see what it feels like.
Is this that happening? And me going on Rotten Tomatoes and seeing the reviews for Split make me think: are we living in a parallel universe where M. Night Shyamalan and Konami can make good decisions again?
We'll see what happens.
I mean, the game could still suck, but the fact that they're willing to make a new Bomberman game after just.
I don't think
console Bomberman game.
I don't think Konami has a choice but to bank on like older decisions at this point.
But you think it would just be Bomberman Pachinko or Bomberman iPhone?
Yeah, and they could have fallen back on that. But judging from the fan base backlash they had last year, I'm not even a big fan of Metal Gear and the Metal Gear creator, but. He was totally in the right. When I did some more research on it, I was like,
they sound like a really horrible company from these stories.
Yeah,
which is a shame because they've made some good stuff.
Yeah, so it's in their, just like Capcom, it's in their best interest to try and get people back. So if they got to go back into the old catalog and drum up some old fans.
You heard about Metal Gear Survive, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they announced the next Metal Gear game. It is a action-based zombie fighting spin-off.
Oh, right.
It has one of the highest dislike to like ratios I've ever seen on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Like, I think everybody was like, wrong move.
Didn't the creator said, don't do that? It was Kojima. That's his name.
I don't know what Kojima said, but I'm sure he was not approving of it.
Yeah.
This is after he was gone anyway.
Yeah, I think he did say, that's no good, dude. Don't do that.
I mean, he's not with them anymore. He doesn't have to worry about speaking out against them.
Well, yeah, but Metal Gear is in some way still his baby. So I guess if someone does a bad job, if someone does a bad job, you want to be like, don't raise my baby that way.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him in that regard. Death Stranding looks intriguing though, whatever it's going to be. I mean,
yeah.
But I'm sure we'll talk about it when the time comes. And but what I was saying was, I think we will have to devote the intro to an episode to what I think of Breath of the Wild. I won't spoil anything, obviously, but that new trailer for Breath of the Wild,
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
That went from me being interested in the game to holy shit, when is this out?
Yeah, and you know what? That thing I just mentioned earlier about 20 minutes ago about watching people cry, and it kind of makes me want to cry.
When Zelda cries?
When Zelda cried, I was like, no, baby girl, don't. Hold it in. Don't do it. And she let the waterwork flow.
Yeah, no, it's funny because they're doing the exact two things I've wanted them to do with Zelda for a while. Full voice acting and kind of open world, back to exploratory style.
Yeah, the open world style is something I've been wanting to see from Zelda for a long time. And I think they kind of touched on that with Wind Waker. I could be wrong.
They were saying they're specifically drawing inspiration from stuff like The Witcher and Skyrim now, which I was saying, like, yeah, pull Skyrim with Zelda mechanics. And funny enough, Skyrim is coming to the Switch. Bethesda's finally saying, hey, we're finally doing something on Nintendo.
Cool.
I mean, it's been a long time since they made Home Alone for the NES.
It's been such a long time. Where have you been?
They've done a lot. They had a lot of crappy NES licensed games and then moved on. But now I think they were waiting for the right opportunity to put one of their games on there.
Yeah. Now, I had a bit of an emotional tiff for a second regarding Zelda and her crying. And then I quickly got over it because I was like, okay, I'm done. All right, I'm good. And then I saw like all the other cartoonish characters that are popping.
They look so cool.
I want to hang out with Flying Birdman.
You mean Falco?
Yeah, I want to hang out with Falco and Zelda.
It's like Black Falco.
He looks so doggone cool.
Yeah.
I want to go have
I think even like the reimagining characters, like I think it's a Zora, but it's like a shark-headed person.
Yeah, Serena
looks so vivid. And I remember I was a little worried when they first announced like, yeah, it's gonna be open world and have voice acting, but we're not showing you other characters. I got a little worried, like, is this gonna be like just Link by himself for the most part? No.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty doggone expansive. Serena really likes the Sharkhead character.
Yeah, I like
him too. I like
the Gerudo girl.
I like the red-haired Gerudo girl. Is that who that was?
Gerudo. Well, we don't know her name yet, but they're all redhead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she looks pretty cool too. I'm like, I want to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to meet Falco. Crying Zelda.
Fat Great Fairy, I think.
I'm not down with that.
Well, maybe she won't be as scary as the N64 version.
Maybe, hopefully not.
That would be easy.
I've always been kind of freaked out by that character.
You should be.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I'm not ready for this. Please don't.
Yeah. But to sum up our thoughts, I think we both have hesitations about certain aspects of the Switch.
I'll get it.
We are certainly interested in it, and we'll probably both get it. Me very soon, and you at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to wait. I like I like what the Switch is capable of, but at the same time, while I do like how Zelda is shaping up, I've never been much of a Zelda fan, and we still need to finish our HD version of Wind Waker that's on the Wii U before we jump into another Zelda game.
Again.
And I'll wait for Mario Odyssey.
That seems good. I mean, there'll be more stuff out by then, like Splatoon and ARMS.
Yeah.
Also, should I mention for ARMS, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, I love the art style, but the gameplay looks a little simple. But those who have played it say it's actually, there's a lot more to than what they're showing, which is good. That was the same early impression when I had when they first announced Splatoon. I attended that E3 in 2014 when they and watched the stream on my laptop from the hotel, and I was like, why are they hyping up so much? It looks, it looks okay. Then I got to play, and I was like, oh no, this actually is really cool.
Yeah, ARMS looks really intriguing.
It looks like Punch-Out meets Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Yeah,
it does have the Wii version of the Punch-Out. It's got that. It still has that very cartoonish feel to it.
Yeah, I love the art style and the character designs.
But even that said, I'm going to have to wait because right now I still need to finish up Paper Mario Color Splash and Pokemon Moon. I got a lot of games to finish up on the Wii U.
I got Pokemon Moon last week, by the way.
I saw. How you like it?
I played about the first hour or so, finished the tutorial section, but I'm already noticing like that dramatic leap in presentation.
Yeah, there's a lot of
really helping.
There's a lot of story to cover. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'll take it.
That's the first game that didn't start out with like, just like, are you a boy or girl? It shows a Lily running from these scientists. I'm like, this is different.
Yeah. Who would you choose as your starter?
Oh, I chose Rowlet.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I think I've gone over it in a Pokemon episode. Ever since I went with Bulbasaur and Red and Blue, I almost always picked the leaf plant type out of tradition. Only time I broke from that was I picked Froakie and X and Y because Chespin looked kind of dopey.
Yeah, I think Froakie was one of my first water starters.
What do you usually do?
Yeah, well, I usually do fire types, like straight fire types, like all the way. But Froakie was.
Do you have an all-time favorite starter?
My all-time favorite starter is Charmander.
It's just like mine is Bulbasaur. Like you always where you start. But I'm trying to think. I'm fond of Trico too.
Yeah, well, even besides Charmander, I mean that's my go-to like always.
Like
but
Cyndaquil.
I love Cyndaquil. Oh my god, he's such a cute little armadillo.
Torchic's probably the cutest.
I think Torchic's really.
What was Emboar? What was the monkey's name?
Chimchar.
Not big on him either.
Yeah,
I like all three starters now, though. Litten. I'm surprised you didn't get Litten. Did you?
Well, no, I got a Rowlet.
Yeah, you have cats. How dare you?
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't get a Litten. I have 2 cats.
Oh, why add to it?
Yeah, I have 2 assholes. I don't want to. I don't want another asshole for a son.
You should have named it asshole.
No, I don't want to do. Well, Nintendo won't let me. You know that.
Right. I already I named mine Ezio. Because he gets the assassin hood when he revolves. And I did what I told you I was going to do. I caught a young goose and named him Wall. Happy Inauguration Day, everybody. That's when we're recording this. But, you know what? I think we should that'll probably be a good time to get to our main discussion.
Oh, right. We've been talking so much. I think
we've already approached like half the length of normal episodes. So
yeah, let's get to it.
So while I was rendering the first half of this episode, I did a little, recapping and setting things up with Chris, and he mentioned how when he first saw images of the first Rayman in EGM or some similar magazine in like 94, 95, he said, I want this in my face and on my controller, and I started going, oh, you want Rayman on your face?
Wait, nice. that's you're making it sound awful. You're making it sound wrong.
That's the point.
Well, that's not what I wanted.
Where would it even come from? He has no genitals.
That's not where I was going. Oh my god!
I know. I'm twisting your words for comedic purpose.
How would that look? He'll just be like waste.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he could get anything other than his own body on you. He'd just be rubbing his torso. People, we're talking visuals. Rayman. We're talking Rayman. We're talking. For those who have not played it, Rayman is a very long-running series from developer Ubi Soft. It's actually kind of the series that got them started. Chris is still recovering from our conversation.
I am.
All right. I'm going to keep talking and setting up while you recover.
Go for it.
It was created, I think it originally launched, the first game was originally made for the Atari Jaguar, which was one of many. The mid-90s was a weird time for so many systems that just flopped. The CDI, the 3DO, the Jaguar, and other stuff I'm forgetting. But I think like Naughty Dog's first game was for the 3DO or Jaguar or some like shitty Mortal Kombat ripoff or something. But it was the brainchild of a very cool guy named Michel Ancel, who has helmed all but one or kind of 2 of the main Rayman games, and also created Beyond Good and Evil.
I remember Beyond
which
Good and
is
Evil.
One of the biggest like underground hits of all time. Finally getting its sequel, good game. And so the first one, I'm going to go through it real quick. We'll just summarize each one real quick. They're platformers at their core. First one was made in the days of old Mario and Sonic, so it was a pixel art side scroller. And it was a huge hit, sold millions. Second one, I actually heard they originally started it as a direct sequel to the first, as a side-scroller, but they got so intrigued by the industry's jump to 3D that they started from scratch and made Rayman 2, The Great Escape, which was also critically well received and sold a lot. A few years later, we got Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc, which kind of built on some of 2's fundamentals, but also went in its own direction that we'll get to. That was the one that Ancel was not involved with because he was making Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, not Beyond Good and Evil 1. After that was Rayman Raving Rabbids, which was probably the series' biggest deviation, which we'll get to.
I remember that one.
It was one of the smash hits of the Wii launch, and we'll get to it. The series took a break for a while after that. The Rabbids kind of stole the show for a couple of years. And then it was reinvigorated when Ancel and a small team did very much taking the series back to its roots with Rayman Origins and its direct sequel Rayman Legends, which got rid of all 3D and just went to a hand-drawn, side-scroller, hop and bop style. So let's just start by saying, Chris, what are some of the first things you remember like being introduced to the Rayman franchise, like aside from the screenshots that you wanted on your face?
Okay, when I finally was able to actually play Rayman, and I don't like that extra thing you put at the preface of this. Me and my brother were actually playing it on the N64. It was Rayman. You said it was Rayman
That was
2, right?
First one was only on was never on Nintendo. Actually, they ported it to the GBA later.
Yeah, so that was a big sprawling platformer of a thing, and it started out fairly dark. Like I remember Rayman and Glowbox were captured. Yeah, and they weren't talking normally. They were doing the Banjo-Kazooie thing where they're like, yeah, Chihuahua name Momishtud. Yeah, we loved that. Me and my brother. Yeah, when we would stay up all night playing that game. We had so much fun. But we only got as far as what was his name? There was this villain who had a top hat. He was like a ball and he had like arms.
I don't know his name, but he's the guardian of the Cave of Bad Dreams.
Yeah, we got pretty far, but I think on one of our first encounters with them, the Nintendo 64 had some pretty impressive graphics for its time. But there were times when the animation was fairly off-putting, and seeing that guy kind of bounce up and down as your bad guy, he's a crunchy ass dude, man, and that kind of freaked my brother out, and he was just like crunching all over the place, just bouncing and trying to get you, and it wasn't the best time.
It was turn it off there.
Yeah, we did. I tried to turn it back on, and he was like, "Nah, I can't do that. And not tonight. Okay. Let's play something else for a while."
And when did you next encounter the series?
I next encountered the series several years later, and that's when I finally picked up like was it PlayStation 3? I think it was a PlayStation 3 when I finally picked up Rayman Origins, and I just wanted to try it out. It looked it had like a more evolved art style from the first few screenshots that I saw of whatever video game magazine I happened to be reading at the time, and I loved it. I really loved the charm and the cartoonish way about it, and how the foreground characters interacted with the background characters, and how
Origins Legends go full cartoon in their approach.
Yeah, everything is so heavily lit and stylized and very well shaded. It's so both Rayman Origins and Legends are fantastic games. So if you don't have them, by all means, please take out some time to pick them up on the PlayStation Plus store or on the Wii U or whatever console. I think any next gen console should have it at this point, even the Xbox One. So
it's been ported to many systems.
Yeah,
Legends has at least.
Yeah, these are great. These are great 2D platforming games, and you can do all the things that you would normally do. Jump, runs, you can hover, you can glide. Those moves are definitely indicative of what a platformer does. But there's a lot of charm and personality in the new Rayman games. There's a lot of challenge, and there's a lot of difficulty in trying to figure out how to get past this level, or how to interact with a new boss, or how do I use this sort of move to get through this stage. And just, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a gorgeous, fun.
Yeah, there's no plot to spoil for the most part, but it has beautiful gimmicks that you don't want spoiled. There's one. Here's one instance. So I forget what area this is in Rayman Origins, and I think it's towards the last level. However, there is a world that is that is sort of like shambling ruins, and one of your core moves is being able to run up a wall, and second to last world.
Yeah, in a couple of worlds, they give you a bit of a warm up. You run along like loop-de-loops along the ceiling, then you fall back down. You run along the wall, then you fall back down. But there's a point in this particular level when you're running up the wall and you just keep going. You got to jump over obstacles while holding down a button in a certain way in order for you to keep running up this wall. Got to jump above falling rocks. Got to jump above incoming buzzsaws, but all the while still running up this wall. This isn't automatic. The game does not do that for you.
Right.
You have to time. Yeah, you have to time your jumps just right, and if you let go of the wall running button, you die.
But the great thing is you have unlimited lives, and checkpoints are super generous.
Yeah, and you can play with with your friends
locally.
I think I'm not sure if you can do it online or not. Okay, you can't. But Legends takes this a step further and introduces like online challenges where you get to race other people in like in certain racing modes, or
challenge mode. I love that.
Yeah, there is I don't want to say it's an endless runner stage, but there is a stage where you have to run forever and you have to beat
the challenge levels are the ones where it's like run as long as fast as you can, as far as you can. Those are endless. They're just randomly procedurally generated.
Gotcha. Now, you do have to beat like you have to beat the whoever has the best score closest to you or in the world, I guess, and
or friends.
Or friends. I never really got very far, but it was really fun. I remember I must have got like gold one time, and I was really gunning for platinum.
I've gotten lots of golds. I've never gotten a platinum. That takes a lot.
Yeah, these things are difficult. They take a long time, but they're incredibly fun, and they definitely tests your mettle in playing platformer games.
Okay, and I do want to say we're gonna get back to Origins in a second, but I should probably go over all the other games too, since you have less exposure to them. I think I first heard of Rayman 1 in magazines too. I think I thought it looked fun, but I didn't think much of it at the time. At least not like I gotta get this now, especially because I didn't have a system or a PC that could run it.
Yeah.
I was a Nintendo kid through and through, and it never came to N64 or Super Nintendo or anything.
Yeah.
So apparently it was originally made as a co-op Super NES game before being revamped, and the prototype for that was recently recovered. You can look it up online. Very interesting looking. Rayman was all like, it was like two chubby Raymen you would team up with. Then I finally did get the chance to play it at a cousin's house who had DOS, and I thought it was pretty neat. And again, it didn't blow my mind. And actually revisiting it after 2 came out, it's a beautiful game, some great soundtrack and great foundation set, but it's hard. It's hard. The controls are not as fluid. The level design is not as creative, and it's very much like you can save, but you still have like so many lives and continues, and especially because it's one of those where you know how in Origins Legends you can find those hidden cages.
Yeah.
In the original, they're there too, and to unlock the last boss, it's a Jet Force Gemini situation. You have to get all the cages.
Oh,
so good luck with that. But a few years later, Rayman 2 came out. I rented that for the N64, and it became one of my favorite games for the system.
Awesome.
Looking back, it's unique from a lot of other 3D platformers at the time because there's next to no collecting element to it compared to like Banjo or Spyro and stuff. It's very much exploration and progression based, and it has a bit more of a story compared to a lot of them too. Granted, with the gibberish stuff, it's not as rich as you might think I'm building up to be, but it was there. You got a lot of cutscenes to give context to each level you were in and the situation over time. And that's something I wanted to get back to to talk about the series in general. 3 came out a few years later, and I was pumped at that point. And actually, did think and still think it's a great game. The one thing that did majorly change was exploration and progression was still a heavy thing, but it had more of a focus on combat, like Rayman's, shooting. Because for those who don't know, Rayman is unique design in that he has no limbs. It is a floating head, a floating torso, floating glove hands, and floating shoes. And his trademark power is that he can throw his fists as projectiles and then like boom right back to him. And so they built on that in 3. There were more enemy types, more dynamic behavior. Rayman controlled more fluidly with his strafing and action moves. And there was also a score element, like one of the last games that really pushed score because killing enemies would give you combos or multipliers, and there were also different gems scattered around that would increase your points, and the multipliers would help that. Yeah, and it really encouraged you to do that by offering a lot of little extra unlockable mini games that, looking back, were nothing special. But I think another game that came out around that time was Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which is actually quite fun, and that was very score combo driven too. I actually would like to see another platformer like that because it's actually a very addicting and kind of gratifying mechanic when you do it right. Yeah. And so do you know about the history about? So did you ever play Rayman Raving Rabbids?
I did. I actually own Rayman Raving Rabbids. I just remembered, but I didn't keep it for very long. I think I kept it for about 4 weeks, and then realized that none of my friends were going to come over and play Rayman Rabbid with me for a while. So I mean, there were better games out. To be flat out.
Rayman Rabbid actually had a very interesting development history because it started as a full 3D platformer headed by Ansel. After Beyond Good and Evil, he was ready to get back to the series.
Oh.
You can look up like concept trailers on it because they showed a little bit of what to expect, where like the Rabbids had more varied and grotesque looking designs. Those outfits you unlocked for Rayman would actually give him different powers because 3 did something similar to that. He could like tame and ride wild animals. I think he even said it was going to be, he was taming for like an open world approach. And, but what happened was, they got Wii dev kits and went, all right, we'll try to incorporate the motion controls into it. And they started getting so carried away and interested in the potentials. They went, you know what? Let's scrap the game we planned, take the assets, and make a minigame collection.
No.
And even then, when I heard about that, I was like, well, all right. Because here's the thing. In magazines, they were saying, well, it's still going to have a good story. Like, there's going to be an ongoing plot where Rayman, like, teams up with old nemesis who have also been captured. At the end, he fights the Emperor of the Rabbids. There's, like, a Ray girl he's got to save. None of that in the final game. In fact, I remember getting pissed off by the end of that game because, like, Rayman gets captured with Glowbox's children. He escapes, then remembers, oh, wait, I left the children behind. Goes to jump into the Rabbids tunnel, gets stuck. The end.
Super. I love it when game companies lie to me. That's like my favorite part.
I felt betrayed, and even then I felt sad for a while because I still wonder about the lost potential of what that original Rayman 4 would have been. And I still really want the series to do another full 3D entry. I feel like there's been renewed interest in that kind of game lately with stuff like Ukulele and the Rabbids in general. I actually like as characters. I think their slapstick gobbledygook is pretty funny, and I remember thinking years later, man, the minions really copped their style.
Yeah, they did. You know what? That was that weird late 2000s period where these very strange, yelling, manic, random characters. You had minions, you had Rabbids. A couple years later came the McDonald's weird Happy Meal thing that's running around. Maybe that's fairly recently though. Okay, so there's these McDonald's has now made their Happy Meal campaign basically like the minions in the Rayman Rabbids.
Like so little creatures.
They're basically creatures that yell and do stupid things.
Did they kill off Ronald?
No, he's still around, I think.
Okay. It's a separate campaign.
Yeah, it's just a separate campaign, and I don't think that I'm not sure how well that took off, but it's that archetype of a cartoon character. It's not as fun as branding companies think it is. Now,
it's also played out.
It's definitely played out. But you know what? Even still, I liked Rayman Rabbids. I liked Rayman Rabbids, but it wasn't that fun.
It was a decent game for one playthrough and some multiplayer, but yeah, I felt gypped, and the next couple of years really frustrated me because they kept doing Rabbids games. Yeah. And Rayman would appear in them, but it was a very diminished role, and the Rabbids kept getting the best of him, and I was like, motherfucker, where's the new actual Rayman game? You're waiting for something better to come along. Those kinds of characters, they're entertaining, but it's hard to stay entertained because they have a very basic shtick. Like even in Despicable Me, when the minions were running around, I like Despicable Me. I'm not in love with the series, but I like it. Either. But then the Minions movie came along, and it's like, oh, good. So this is where storytelling is now. All right. I liked the first half hour of the movie. Then I was so bored.
Yeah.
The Minions themselves can't carry a full movie, I don't think. Keep them to shorts and in the background.
Well, it sold gangbusters. So
yeah, I'm not talking about how well it did. I'm just talking about what I thought of it.
Well, I mean, even how we think about it, I don't want to say that doesn't matter, but it's a shame because this is a whole nother argument entirely.
Yeah,
so I'm going to preface
that another time.
But I'm just saying that just throwing all the money to that kind of storytelling.
They're trying to make a Rabbids movie. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I remember
no Rayman
that
movie, but the Rabbids.
Rabbids, yeah. It's easy. It's easy to
the craziest thing. Have you heard the rumors about a Mario Rabbids crossover RPG for the Switch?
Oh God, hope to God not.
Nothing confirmed yet, but there's just been a lot of insider thing. Like, if we don't hear about it by E3, maybe it'll just be false. But I'm wondering how that would work.
That's another. If that happens to be true, then that's just another thing for me to check off the negative box for Nintendo Switch. That doesn't make it a day one purchase for me.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about that when or if it's actually confirmed. But we've been talking about the Rabbids and that archetype. But,
yeah.
So
Sorry.
Years later, finally, when I think it was kind of the point where I'd like lost hope of ever seeing Rayman again. I watched the E3's Ubisoft's, I think it was their 2010 E3 stream, and out of nowhere, bam, Rayman appeared, and I was like, whoa. But actually, I remember it showed, it's a sidescroller. Okay, I was like, I was so happy it was back, but I was, hoping for some grand 3D adventure. Then the reviews hit, and I played it. I played Origins, and I was floored.
Yeah.
And Legends followed suit too. Those are two of the best 2D platforms I've ever played.
Yeah.
But and we will get to them. But I also want to talk about interesting things about about 2 and 3. You mentioned how you remember 2 starting kind of dark.
Yeah.
Something I really appreciate in 2 and 3 that the series lost after that, even with Origins and Legends, I feel. It had a very unique tone and world from almost anything. Like, there was still slapstick happening, and like 3 is fully voice acted. Yeah. And the interesting thing is they even get some notable names like Murphy, that little green frog fly, is your tutorial guide for the first level, and he's voiced by Billy West.
Yeah.
And he's breaking the fourth wall left and right, like, how do we find answers? Oh, hey, the manual. Okay, here's what you do.
Don't be so touchy. Here, check out what I found. The manual. It's all in here. If you read the story, you'll find your way out. Once upon a time, there were lumps. Harmony, love, peace. Boring!
Glowbox was played by John Leguizamo. And
that's awesome.
And he was funny. Not what you expect Glowbox to sound like, because it's basically Sid without the list from Ice Age. Yeah. But he gets some good lines in, like he's your constant companion through most of the game. It's not a burden. He's just there for story purposes, and you can punch him just for fun. And at one point he says, I remember 2 lines he said. One, "You were nicer in Rayman 2," and the other, my favorite, "You keep that up, Buster, and we're gonna be rated T. It's bad enough that I'm already butt naked."
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Rayman 3 had a lot of a snark to it, a lot of fourth wall stuff. Some worked better than others, but I like that the personality it gave the game. But just 2 and 3, like, I just remember looking back on them. 2 has an overall bleaker tone because, your whole world's been imprisoned by robo-pirates and you're taking it back. 3, not so heavy in its plot, but just the world is very unique because, like, a lot of it can take place at night. Very beautiful forest designs, especially in 3 when they had bigger horsepower. And look up on 3 sometime. There's one level I remember that really floored me where you go climb up this tower that looks like it's made not of solid material but like twinkling stars. And I remember in 2 you could look up lore by standing on like plates of such, and you could find like the birth of Rayman. And in 2 you meet the creator of the world. Cool. He actually shows up in Origins and Legends as that old guy with the beard, the Bubble Dreamer. Which makes me wonder if those are meant to be like a soft reboot, because there are a lot of characters who don't come back, and his design is totally different in 2. He actually looks pretty creepy. But I don't know. There's, for all their still very child friendly gameplay and characters, there's a craft to the world building of 2 and 3 that I never really saw on any platformer since, and it's the one thing I think Origins and Legends did worse, because there's almost no plot in those games.
No, there's that's one of the things that kind of disappointed me in Origins.
That was
and Legends.
The one thing that just me about those, because I wanted know more about this world, and the overall atmosphere wasn't quite as rich too. Like, don't get me wrong, the backgrounds are terrific. There's some good tunes. Like the 2 and 3 have such, and even 1 to 3 have such atmospheric, kind of brooding soundtracks. It reminds me of like I feel like it reminds me of how people love a lot of certain like 80s movies like Dark Crystal and such, taking stuff that's relatively friendly fairy tale stuff, but also giving it kind of a both mystical and sinister edge, and just creative. Just, there's stuff I remember seeing in 2 and 3 that's like the Cave of Bad Dreams you talked about. Like, when you beat that guy, there's this cutscene where he's like, well, I can give you the treasure you want the artifact you want to get ahead, but also I can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. And a little thing pops up, like he puts a coin in Rayman's hands, like, do you want it? Yes or no? You press yes, it shows a fat Rayman lounging on a beach with like the end, then it comes back to no, and that's the canon choice, because like he takes off his head, it's like, no, I'm trying to save the world. And I'm trying to think about, and like 2 has like, you're like elemental guardians that you've got to think of the mask from to resurrect. Like 2, the idea is at the end you're trying to resurrect or revive the god of your world to help fight off the pirates. Yeah. And it has a pretty epic last boss too. If you look up on YouTube, where the captain of the pirates takes you on this like behemoth robot, and you get on one of those. I love the levels you're flying. That's an auto runner. You're riding those rocket with legs.
Yeah.
And you kind of take them on. Like the first half of the fight is on foot, where you have to dodge his huge beams and shoot him, and it's a very tense standoff too. It's like you're trying to kill Glowbox and stuff. And then the second half is you flying around on the rocket in this tunnel, taking them on. 3, like I said, not so much of a bleak plot, but like I remember you go into this desert and it's just all these like you're running along animal carcasses. You take on this like scary warrior tribe that the game makes a point to tell you like these guys are invulnerable. Don't even approach them. And like the idea of that one is the villain is a dark lum. Lums are like the coins in Mario. They're like these little fairies are your main equivalents. Yeah, and one of them gets tainted and wants to corrupt the heart of the world and such. Well, obviously, Rabbids completely abandoned that, and Origins and Legends, it didn't feel so much as a betrayal, so it just wasn't there. I do hope, if whatever the next proper Rayman game is, be it an Origins 3, or I'm still very curious to see what Ansel could do with a 3D game with today's technology.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if Ubisoft would be willing to let that happen, because big budget 3D platformers are still a very done thing outside of Mario and Sonic and some Nintendo stuff.
People are still clamoring for it.
I know. Ukulele's success, if that game does well critically and financially, I'm hoping that could give some impetus. We're also, Crash is coming back. The Insane Trilogy looks awesome. I'm really starting to get some hope that maybe we could see something of a comeback for 3D platformers, and maybe that could encourage Ubisoft to try again with the Rayman 2 and 3 approach.
Yeah, and there's also a Hat in Time, which looks very adorable.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if I did that Kickstarter or not. That one's been a long time coming, but it looks fun. There are a couple smaller crowdfunding things. Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, Psychonauts 2.
I crowdfunded that. I'm really excited for that. So yeah, I guess it could happen, but Ubisoft is a company who I'm not fond of in terms of their corporate approach. But that's a story for another day. I still love some of their games, but we will see what happens with Rayman in the future. I will say it actually has had some fun iPhone spin-offs. Have you played any of the mobile spin-offs?
The what spin-offs on?
The Rayman, the one they spin off the mechanics and look of the Origins Legends.
You mean Rayman Run or Rayman Jungle Run?
Jungle Run, Fiesta Run, and more recently Adventures.
Yeah, I've played Jungle Run, and
I like them.
And Regular Run. Was there a regular one? I think those were regular.
There was just Jungle, Fiesta, and then Adventures. Okay. Adventures is a bigger thing, and that takes like the Legends art style.
Okay, then I played Jungle and Fiesta. I didn't play Adventures yet.
They're all really good.
Okay.
Especially because Adventures, the first two are pure auto runners, and they adapt them very well. Adventures, if you want, you can use a gamepad for iPhone compatible gamepad, and then it plays just like the others.
Okay.
It's great that they retain all the fundamentals. So I think we can talk about Origins and Legends a little bit more now, because I was talking about what I love most about 2 and 3, and what I think the one thing they do better than Origins and Legends. Because from a gameplay perspective, I think Origins and Legends are the best. They are phenomenal games.
I think. It's obvious that story-wise, the earlier Rayman games, they definitely hold the balance there.
Okay, to be clear, I'm talking 2 and 3. 1 had almost no story outside of intro and ending either.
Well, I'm just saying the 3D the early ones, yeah. But as far as like Origins and Legends is concerned, they don't have a story, and that makes me kind of sad. But there is
like just a vague intro, and that's pretty much it.
There's definitely like a focus on how difficult these levels are going to be, and what kind of new mechanic or what kind of new gimmick this new level would have. And I don't want to really use the word gimmick, but they do introduce new mechanics as the game continues, and they introduce new ways on how to use the mechanics. But really, the game kind of swerves towards the amount of difficulty and how well you know the game.
Yeah,
and how well.
They're not among the most difficult platforms I've ever played, but there are parts that take trial and error, especially if you try to be a completionist and get all the cages and all the... Okay, one of my favorite things that I didn't know about those games going in is how lums are handled.
Yeah.
That's my favorite implementation of like a basic collectible in a sidescroller ever, because like I said, unlimited lives, automatic checkpoints. The way the lums work is you have a goal for each level where it will reward you based on how many, like a certain number you collect at the end of a level.
Yeah.
And that's important for going completionist. And the thing I love is the lum multipliers. Like in the first one, it's when you grab the big purple ones and you get that little chant.
Yeah.
Voice. They all turn purple and are double in value. In Legends, they get even cleverer, where like you'll see chains of them, like a string of them. The first one's purple. And if you get each one in order, the next one will be 2. It really encourages both exploration to get all the lums you can, and the cages with the teensies.
Definitely.
and being, precision platforming to get the highest possible amount.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking about the Teensies. They, before I forget, they have a really cute moment in 2. Do you remember their introduction about their king?
Yeah.
Where they keep passing the crown around, like they have no official king. Like, I'm. And the moment Rayman goes like, no, I have official business. Who's the king? They all shut up, and one of them just places it on another. Like, okay, that's real cute. And they're kind of like the toads of Rayman. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
very prolific, smaller species who you can play as 2 different colored ones. Often need your help.
Mm-hmm.
And I did wish. I love the introduction of Barbara in Legends.
Yeah. That's something I should have mentioned, but whenever I have a chance, I choose Barbara.
I always choose her and Rayman, and some of the other princesses they introduced, which are all they're kind of reskins of her, but they change the hair and the color. I also like Olympia, like the Amazonian one in white with green hair.
Yeah,
very fun characters. I love how she has like a tomboy look to her.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
She's got a missing tooth. She's all rambunctious. It's fun.
I love the missing tooth and her stupid laugh when she bounces on something. Just goes. I love that. It's cool.
Yeah. There are little voice clips in the like Rayman. Rayman sounds so 90s in Original Legends. Yeah. Ooh. And I wonder why Glowbox doesn't make a sound at all, because he had a voice. I imagine him sounding like Patrick Star.
Yeah, that
would kind of be the role he fills.
That was a weird decision. Like even the 2 twins or the
Teensies have voices.
Yeah, they have voices. Why not Glowbox? That was very strange.
I have no idea. I love how they made him perpetually look like he was like sleepy-eyed or stoned. I don't know. Because the idea is he's kind of a strong but dopey.
Yeah, I feel like that his design warrants a voice. Everyone else does. That was
Man, I would
strange.
love them. Yeah. Oh, and I mentioned to you before because there was a Rayman cartoon. Very briefly.
I think I remember that on my old Nintendo 64 preview.
Yes, they sent a tape
VHS.
previewing Rayman to Tonic Trouble, another platform, and there was a trailer for it. I was always curious about it. I got the VHS on eBay a couple years later, and there actually are some interesting things about it because the actual show is okay. It's not dreadful like you would think. It has a few funny moments. But it's also one of those shows where, other than the main character, it has like fuck all to do with the actual game.
Okay.
Rayman is the main character. Razorbeard appears as the main villain's accomplice in the first episode. Everyone else is made up. The settings, the characters, they still look in the same style. Like the main civilians are kind of like more human-sized teensies, human proportions. And the weird thing is there are characters who are like analogs. Like there's a big dopey, it's like a big skinny Glowbox. And the one character I want to see return from Rayman 2 is Lee the Fairy, who's like this Zen floating mystic type. Actually, no, I guess the girl on that was more like Batilla the Fairy because she was like a redhead human. The two things I will give it credit for, one, Rayman is actually voiced by Billy West. Who went on to voice Murphy in 3. The weird thing about the performance, he tries to do this accent where it's like semi-Brooklyn. He's like, oh, well, we left it in the car. Oh, well, you're not doing a good job of this.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. We'll find her. After all, she's in the car.
Yeah, that was something.
I don't know why he went for it.
I remember
It's
hearing a
very
preview
odd,
of that.
but his acting's good otherwise. But the thing I like about Rayman the show is, in the games, Rayman is very much a Mario type. He doesn't speak much in 3 when we get to voice. He speaks a little bit in 2, but he's very much the standard, noble, I'm going to save the day, I'm a platform hero. The show makes him a little more snarky. Like, in the first episode, he's getting pushed around by the villains, and he just doesn't give a shit. And he's always like wheeling his way, skimming his way out of obstacles. And I like that idea, and I wish they could carry it off into the games eventually. And the game, one thing I will give the show credit for on a technical level was it was fully CG animated in, I believe, 98 or 99. I don't think CG animated shows started to look genuinely good until the past half decade. Like, I think Sonic Boom looks pretty good. New Ninja Turtles looks pretty good. I was watching the Skylanders Netflix show. That looks really good visually. But you look back to Reboot, Donkey Kong, Beast Wars.
I don't know, because
they look dated, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, if you definitely like the late '90s CG was definitely dated. But I know this is trailing way off topic here.
Okay, go ahead.
But in certain instances, Reboot itself was pretty awesome in that and what it was trying to do. And even in its latter seasons, it like the modeling and the texturing and everything. And the animation went way up.
I'm not discrediting Reboot. It's a good show, but it was the first of its kind. So naturally, it's not going to look as good as what we have now. It was a groundbreaker.
I definitely know what you're saying. I'm just trying to think of some other examples.
Donkey Kong Country, that cartoon. Yeah. I remember thinking it looked better than Reboot. Then I saw they did a second season of it later, and that looked way worse. That looks abysmal. It's a different studio. It looks like shit.
I tried to watch the Donkey Kong cartoon.
I watched it for a while. I want to talk about it whenever we do a Donkey Kong retrospective. I went from liking it to hating it, and now it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
I did songs.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Voices are very weird.
I tell you, I mean, once Donkey Kong went off, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to my my reruns of Beast Wars and Beast Machines.
Yeah, Beast Wars. That's another day one. But the reason I brought this up, the Rayman cartoon, I remember thinking so at the time too. It actually looks very good from like a modeling standpoint for both the time period and as a TV show. I read because they only made 4 episodes. And then it went straight to VHS and DVD. And I remember stumbling on one of the animator's portfolios because it's hard to find information on it. And he said it was mainly for financial reasons. The show never got properly done and put on TV. And maybe because they spent a lot of money on making it look good, because it does look good. And there is some creativity to it, too. Like in the second episode, they go on a subway train that goes up vertically. Their car gets sent to a dump where they dispose of this huge, Cyclops cow creature that eats stuff. There's some of the interesting creativity to be found in the games, but it's still more slapsticky and generic in some other ways. But it does make me think I would love to see them to try and take another crack at animating Rayman. But of course, we still have you know what? I'm fine, because right now we have Rabbids Invasion on Nickelodeon. It sells.
Why would you have that? Fine, whatever, Nickelodeon, whatever. All right, it's your choice. Okay, kids love it.
Ubi Soft's choice too. Marketing, merchandising. Merchandising, where the real money is made.
All right, okay. All right, I get it. All right, cool.
But I think we can start drawing the conversation to a close. But I think, obviously, we both recommend Origins and Legends.
Definitely.
I also recommend 2 and 3. I recommend 1 Rabbids as novelties. 1 was more figuring out how to do about things. Rabbids, if you like party games, sure. I also should mention, obviously there were a lot of handheld spin-offs and whatnot. The Game Boy Advance version of Rayman 3 I thought was surprisingly great. It kind of took fundamentals of the very first Rayman and built on them with better controls and mechanics, and it incorporates a lot of stuff from 2 as well. Actually, it incorporates more from 2 than 3, where you do. I think you actually have a boss fight against your creepy bouncing ball guy. I don't think they ever got re-released or anything, but if you can find a copy on eBay or a ROM, it's worth a look. And I hold 2, 3, and Origins and Legends in very high regard. Yeah. And I actually do recommend people check out the phone games too, especially because Adventures is free to play and it handles that aspect fairly well, I thought. And if you're a completionist, look up the cartoon on YouTube and wonder about. I met Billy West at AwesomeCon last year.
Awesome.
And I didn't go, what's it like being Fry? What's it like being Stimpy? I went, do you remember working on the Rayman stuff? And he went, I don't remember the specifics, but yeah, I remember doing a Rayman project. And I was not surprised he didn't remember because he voiced Rayman for 4 episodes and Murphy's only in the first level.
And he's been doing 100 different roles by that point.
He's a busy man, so I do not fault him for being like,
no.
Then I went over to Phil Lamar next to him, and I remember the Samurai Jack revival had just been announced. And I was like, so they got you back? And he's like, can't comment on it. Of course, a few weeks. But no. That's standard procedure. A few weeks later, they did confirm. Because why wouldn't he? He's Jack.
Yeah. If he couldn't comment on it, then that'd be different.
No, he couldn't. It wasn't confirmed.
Well, if he couldn't comment on it, then that should say it all. Like if you don't, if you say no, then that's enough. I also met
Charles Martinet and asked him, have intended to talk to you about their movie plans and stuff, and he just immediately went, can't comment on that. Though I actually do wonder if they made a Mario movie, they probably wouldn't cast him. They want some celebrity, but I don't know who that would be.
Maybe, but I think they'll try. I mean, even the Pokemon the first movie tried to cast Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't think you didn't know that.
As what, Mewtwo?
But yeah, Mewtwo Strikes Back. They tried to cast Leonardo DiCaprio. That was their intention, but obviously that didn't work.
I have never heard that, and that blows my mind. I'm telling Patrick about that immediately.
I think there was
bonkers.
I think there was a Kerr blog about it. I'm not sure, but you'd have to check. But yeah, that was news.
I can't imagine what that would sound like.
I can't imagine
because Mewtwo's dub voice they got was pretty perfect.
Yeah, I think I think Nintendo, if they decide to use Charles, if they decide to use Charles' voice, I think they should keep to doing that. People like the guy.
If they did a new show, I feel like if they did a movie, people would press them. Get so and so to do Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't know.
Please
who does funny accents? I don't know.
No. Don't. Just stay true to the thing.
We'll talk more about that if something comes of that. But I think we should probably draw things to a close at this point.
Sounds good.
But before we go, we've already discussed. Chris, you're choosing our next review topic. So why don't you let people know what we're going to be talking about?
I actually forgot because I'm tired.
I will remind you, it's something you've mentioned in passing, and now the entire series is up for streaming. I'm going to marathon it since it seems fairly short.
Yuri on Ice?
Reviewing the recent hit Yuri on Ice.
Yay! I'm sorry, I'm very sleepy.
It's cool. I have a big gulp cherry Coke next to me that I've been sipping on, so I'm not sleepy.
I actually have back pain medicine, so it's kind of making me a little wonky. I'm sorry.
Before we go, our family dog a couple days ago had some surgery done at the vet. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. She got spayed, and she had some vet scenes. But that meant they had to put on the cone.
Oh, the cone of shame.
I made a Facebook picture about that. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Because the best part was when I came home and saw her, she was still on the painkiller, the anesthetic, and she was just all sleepy-eyed and the calmest I'd ever seen her because she's a very hyper dog normally, and it was so funny. Like, she looked so grouchy.
Oh.
And then when I visited her the next day, she couldn't figure out how to get up the stairs with the cone.
Poor guy.
Poor girl. But it's her first experience with a cone. Hopefully it'll be a learning experience if she ever has to do it again.
Poor girl. Okay.
Now I'm imagining my parrot with a cone. I don't know why he would need one, but that would be interesting. I'm going to go check on him when we're done. But so that will do it for this episode. Look forward to Yuri on Ice, and maybe I'll finally have seen Rogue One by then, and we can do a little spoiler cast at the beginning.
All right.
And we'll see what else we talk about. But so you can find me on Twitter at Behonkiss, BHONKISS. Chris, where are you on Twitter?
You can find me at Sparkflow Films on Twitter.
And I also have the same username on Tumblr, and you can also find the show on at SketchWatchPlay. And actually, by the time this goes up, I'm probably going to be putting episodes on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
As you and others have suggested. A video of mine that I posted has gone viral. Speaking of Star Wars, you saw the one of my grandmother.
I did. It was adorable.
My grandmother has never seen a Star Wars movie, and I'm showing her the original trilogy, and she was unaware of all the plots. So I recorded her reveal to "I Am Your Father."
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Gotta go look for it for yourself. Gotta go watch it.
No. Wait, don't spoil "I Am Your Father."
No, not I Am Your Father.
The video.
I mean your video.
I wasn't going to spoil the video. No, it's on my YouTube. Look up Showing My Grandma Empire Strikes Back. It's got 72,000 views so far and climbing.
If you haven't seen Star Wars, go see it now.
Yes,
so you'll know who Luke's father is.
Go watch that first and then watch the video. But so I think maybe I'm getting subscribers and that will help spread the word of the podcast some more. But anyway, we keep getting off track, so I think it would be a good time to wrap it up. So I'm John Fleury.
And I'm Christopher Wade.
And we wish you a good day and Rayman on your face.
All right. Jesus Christ.
You're welcome.